So we noticed from Terence Crawford right away in this fight is he holds his ground. The commentators, I think, incorrectly stated right away that Spence was applying good pressure and was the thing. I didn't really think he was applying good pressure. I mean, he was trying to establish that, but he couldn't establish forward momentum in the fight to start off. It was clear that Terence Crawford was going to hold his ground, and that was key because Errol Spence fights off forward momentum. He needs to push you back to be effective. He is not going back. He's good defensively. He could be okay defensively going backwards, but he's not good offensively going backwards. He's not good offensively going to the left or right. He is a forward momentum fighter. He's a train on the train tracks. And what's you notice early is Crawford puts a halt to it, and over time he starts taking the train off his tracks, making it go left and right, just really making him uncomfortable with his offense. The next thing you see here is let me rewind that a little bit. Look at Errol Spence. This is he reaches here. 1 second. Okay, look at he's gonna reach, and Crawford keeps his guard compact, and it allows him to keep his punch to come just straight. He doesn't have to loop. He's not looping anything. He works on that jab, and he says it's a power jab. Look at on this he keeps it compact. He's compact close to his chin. When Crawford reaches into range, right, with that jab to the body, he's able to block it, but he comes straight back with the jab. He's gonna block it here and then come straight back with the jab. That controls all range. That controls all momentum. He pushes Errol Spence back so he can't build on anything. The element added here was of course the hard jab. He made a piston-like jab for this fight, Terence Crawford. He's a special type athlete when it comes to fighting. They can add stuff to his game like that just in a training camp, right? He can change one aspect of his game that he maybe doesn't usually have or usually use consistently, but he's that kind of special fighter that he can add tools like that. Now, I knew that Errol Spence, I think going into this fight was people said that, he's going to add, be able to adjust or add things. And he's just not that type of fighter. He's kind of going to do what he does. But Crawford was able to add this jab, and it came, the motion of it, like I said, was compact, right? But what that jab does is it's because it's hard piston-like jab, you can't just stay there for it, right? If you get hit with it, you got to get pushed back, you got to defend, and that is important to controlling the middle of the ring. That's important of controlling forward momentum and not allowing Spence to just come at you. When you hit him with that jab, it's either going to stop you or to make you push you back. It's going to make you react, and when Spence is reacting and it's not offensively, that's not what he wants to be doing in his game. He wants to start building a forward momentum. Because the jab's so effective for Crawford early, you start to see that Spence starts reacting to it. Another thing to stop momentum, right? To not allow him to get his offense going, and you start seeing see he's really responding to the feints now. This one part of the game, which should have maybe happened over time, is starting to work in the first round. In the first round, Spence is already responding to the feints of the jab. He's already making sure he's really out of range from that jab because it's a heavy jab. It's not just a light jab; it's a heavy jab that he's putting onto him. It's power behind it. So now, not only just a jab does it, but even just a feint could get him off his spot. So Spence isn't just walking in, right? He's trying to punch his way in because he knows that jab. Look, it stops him right there. Now he keeps him in range. He comes in, and if you notice, the jab's going to keep him at a certain range. Not going to allow him just to walk in. See, he keeps right there, so he's going to have to come in from right there. He comes in behind that. He gets stuck. Look at once again. He's coming in. Look at the jab. The jab keeps him there. So now he knows I got to punch on win. He comes from too far away and he gets stuck, and Crawford makes him pay for it. Another thing that's key to this fight is that, there was a lot of things like, Crawford got hit by this guy. Crawford got hit by this guy. Didn't have the greatest performance against, this certain guy. But you have to also remember when these guys get in with elite competition they respect, they're going to fight a little bit more on their top game, right? They're going to mind everything because they respect the guy they're in front of. They know the level of the guy in front of. When there's certain times where you're so good that you don't really respect the guy in front of you, they willing to take more chances because you know that you're going to blast the guy out of there. And I think that's what was the case what we saw from Crawford for a few fights. But when he really needed to step it up, he was very tight in this fight, even defensively. His guard was a lot better. He wasn't getting punched in between shots as much. He wasn't taking as much wild chances. He was making sure that everything was with a plan and with a purpose, right? And that's very key to see when you're trying to judge, is this guy at this level? Well, sometimes when they face top competition, that brings another thing element to the game because it takes them, they're 100% focused, right? They're not going to take any chances. I don't really believe Crawford took the chances in this fight. He was 100% focused on making everything the way he wanted it and no mistakes. One thing you got to learn from Floyd Mayweather versus Shane Mosley is balance equals strength, right? My guy might look bigger and stronger, and he might even be physically stronger, but if he doesn't have balance, right, he's not going to win a battle of body strength, right? As far as being able to use leverage, be able to push a guy back, and that's what you notice in this fight is that Crawford's completely balanced. He's always in the right position, right? He's never off balance, and a lot of times Spence gets in a position where he is not balanced, and situations like this happen. Crawford is balanced in this fight. He's balanced. He's making sure he's always in position to punch. Now, like I said, Spence needs to work off forward momentum, but if you see the way he's flinching to the jab already, it's really affecting him because he doesn't know how to get out of the way of it. He's already at this point very confused in the fight because he has no answer for that jab. That's going to allow, when he comes in, he's always going to feel like it's coming, so it's going to put him in bad spots. He's going to get stuck. A lot of times he gets like right here, in this one spot right here where he goes down, he's expecting the jab to come back. It doesn't even come, but he's kind of already flinching for it. When he goes to the body, see, he's responding because he's expecting the jab to come back. It's making him second guess everything he does. See, boom, and because Crawford's so balanced and Spence is forced to punch from farther than away than maybe he usually would when he's coming in range, or he's punching like kind of set and not coming forward because he doesn't want to walk in straight into that jab. He's cautious of that jab. He's getting stuck, and he's getting stuck in bad range, and that's really what happens right there. He jabs from too far away to the body and leaves everything wide open. And another thing, which I pointed out, is he gets stuck on one side. Look at him. He's going to get stuck on one side. And he's always does this. And Kell Brook took advantage of this, and I had a feeling that Terence Crawford would take advantage of this. That this was like my key to his victory, was him taking advantage when Spence gets stuck on this side and he gets stuck on this side. Jabs the body, he's stuck there. Legs in bad position. Crawford has full leverage, full balance. He's going to catch him right at the edge of the punches. I'll say that one more time because I just think it's just such an important moment. And I thought this was basically checkmate right here when this happened. Just stuck on the side. He's leaning too much. Doesn't have balance. Can't get out of that position. You've seen this. Like I said, against Kell Brook. You've seen it against Ugas. You've seen this against a lot of guys, but they weren't as skilled and weren't as balanced, and they didn't have the pinpoint or the power that Terence Crawford had to take advantage of. Time in slow motion. Jab. Look, he's stuck. He's stuck on that side, and Crawford's balanced. Look at like I said, the best boxers in the world, they move in inches, not feet. What I mean by that is they're able to move just subtly, right? Quicker, little one step. Look at the one step Crawford's doing. Adjust, boom, boom. They said it was a flash knockdown. Even Crawford said they felt it was a flash knockdown. I'm not sure it was. But just look at the balance one more time. Just one little step that Crawford makes. He moves in inches and not feet. That's what the best boxers in the world do. See, Spence is worried about the jab. So he's going to punch from too far away because he's worried about getting that jab. He there, stuck. Boom, boom. Too far away. Crawford's fully balanced. Took one little step to adjust to get full range on the shots. Full momentum. Be able to bounce into full momentum. In this round, and this is what happened in the Kell Brook fight, Spence is getting outskilled, so his mentality is, I'm going to outdog you, right? So this is what he tries to do. In this one moment, this is checkmate right here. This is checkmate. When he realizes that this is not going to be effective, and everybody sees that this is not going to be effective, they're just trying to outdog an opponent, he has no more answers in this fight. This is his last chance. This is his last hurrah. In the third round, that's how effective Terence Crawford is. In the third round, this is the Hail Mary. Another key thing in this fight is Terence Crawford realizing that he just needs a stable guard, basically almost like earmuffs in a way, against Errol Spence, because Errol Spence isn't a precise puncher. He is more throwing thudding shots at like a heavy bag almost in a way when he punches. He's not a precise pinpoint puncher like Terence Crawford, so he can just really just put a guard up that isn't have to adjust too much. Even the head movement doesn't have to put too much because that guard is going to block the thudding shots that are coming from Errol Spence. And especially because the jab is established, the punches are coming from a far range that he can see them. Nothing is really surprising him. He's able to see everything. You're going to see Errol Spence step in with his jab. There he steps in. Crawford slowly turns him with his jab. He jabs him twice and turns him, and now suddenly Spence is really out of off balance, right? He's not really a guy that can fight laterally or turn like that. So again, look, watch him step in and watch how subtly Crawford turns him and jabs him twice. So he turns, jab, jab. Now he got somewhere he wants him, right? He's off balance, legs aren't set, and he's gonna take him and loses momentum, has to reset. Off the tracks. Remember, he's on the tracks, and what Crawford's doing is slowly taking him off the tracks. Once again, this is Errol Spence trying to jab in. If you look at Terence Crawford, takes one step back, he gets set. Another step back, slider though, right? So the first one's a big step back because he knows, okay, he's gonna come in. He has to come into my range. I'm gonna take the one big step back, so I know that he has to walk that whole way in, and then another step back. So that's a big step, and then one little step. Okay, he's in my range. He's gonna come up short. He already read where he ends up at those jabs, and he comes up short, and then he just responds, right? So look at that one more time. These are key things to why Crawford dominated the fight, and it's just knowing your range, knowing the fighter's limitations, what he likes to do and what he can't do. And here, once again, look at the jab comes up short because Spence is getting dominated by the jab. So he's jabbing from far away and tentatively because he knows that the jab's coming. But there's a big step, small step. Okay, he's there. I know where he's at. I know where he's going to end up. This is the only, I know his movements already. And that's a key point right there to dominating the fight for Crawford. The key thing is positioning, right? And head positioning, right? Look at Terence Crawford. He stays above Errol Spence. Errol Spence falls in. He's watching him down and he's punching. He's seeing everything he's doing. See, Spence puts his head down. He can't see where Crawford is. Crawford's looking down at him like a sniper. Look at Spence. He falls in, head down, head below. Look at head down. Boom. Look at Crawford just watching everything he's doing. He's able to pick whatever shot he wants. He's like a sniper. He knows what shot's going to land because he's coming into him. And he's able to punch down, so full power into his stuff. See, below. Once again, look at Crawford when he's looking at him. See, look at, he's seeing everything he wants to see. Full vision. See, look where his head is. Look where Spence's head is. Right? Just right there. Right? He's seeing everything he wants to see. Look at the he stops him from the clinch right there. You see that? There could be a clinch right there. Look at, he's seeing everything he wants. Look at, blocks the clinch. Okay, backs up. He's going low again. Boom. I see everything. He's staying tall. He's not going to Spence's level. He's staying tall so he can see the full vision and to see all the openings. A lot of guys lose their vision on the outside. Some guys lose their vision in mid-range. Sometimes, like on the inside, on the inside it often happens. Crawford is keeping his range at all times, able to see all the openings. Crawford's once again keeps his hands tight. Everything's tight. His guard, everything, his punches are coming from within the shoulder reach, right? Nothing's coming wide. The reason for that is because Errol Spence punches wide. Also, Errol Spence comes straight forward, so you want to be able to beam the shot straight to him when he comes straight to you, right? So look at Crawford. Look at his position. Look where he keeps his jab. It's tight, and he's going to push it just straight like that. Stiff shot, right? So he can punch that from a lot of ranges, and it allows him to, when Spence jumps in, he jumps right into the jab. That stops everything that Spence could do when he does get into range. So he goes in here, boom, right there. Now Spence goes straight for the grab because he came straight for the clinch because he came into a stiff jab, right, that threw him off, and he needed a reset, but he was already on the inside. So it doesn't allow Spence to work on the inside. Once again, keeps it tight. Look, it's almost from the bottom from his hip. Keeps it within his shoulders. Boom, that one jab stops everything. He adjusts the range. So now Spence, like I said, in that situation, right, even though he doesn't make him pay for it. He hit him with a jab. Boom. He comes in, blocks clinch, is back up. Now he has full control where he wants to do it. Lands uppercut. It, doesn't really, make him pay for it, but it's just all about not allowing the guy to get any advantages, not getting him in any position where he can have success. Just complete control. Look at now Errol Spence is really flinching from the jab, reacting to the feints, losing forward momentum, now backing up. I think in this point too, in this round, I think it's very clear that Crawford could really feel Errol Spence's strength and how much he has left, and how it's he's a lot weaker in the fight at this point, and he could feel that by just this right here. He knows that, I could move him around now. And it's the thing is, when you land the jab like that and you're able to, tear your opponent apart, even if you're not dropping him or hurting him consistently, he is just wilting away from the damage being took, and he's starting to lose his legs, and you can see it even in Spence's face that he just doesn't have the same strength that he did early on in the fight. And right here, Crawford really feels it. You could tell just by the way he's holding himself. When they get in the clinch, he really looks to push him back, and it's fairly easy for him to push him back. And you could start seeing that Spence is really doesn't. His legs are kind of not doing what he wants. They're kind of dragging along. His feet are heavy. One thing Crawford starts doing here is starts blocking everything with his left hand, right? It allows him to be able to respond with his right hand. So you look at he blocks. See, he blocks the right. Takes that one. Blocks to look. He's gonna look to block that. He's getting hit here, but he, like I said, he felt what Spence's power was. He felt what his strength was. He knew that it wasn't the same stuff coming back that it was earlier. But him defensively blocking more things with his left hand just allows him to respond and make really Spence pay for when he opens up. He knows that that Spence isn't gonna win those exchanges anymore. He allows him to come in like that. Spence still dipping on that side. It's a key mistake. He's made it his whole career. A lot of people saying, "Oh, was a car crash or things like that." He's made this mistakes against Cal Brook. This is a common mistake he's always made, and just didn't have the guy to really make him pay for it. And Terence Crawford, who can be so precise and punches, really catches your mistakes and punches so crisp and so right on target and hits so hard, and it's just always balanced. He's really gonna make you pay for obvious stuff like that. Like I said, Terence Crawford is like an elite baseball hitter. And if he sees enough pitches, he sees enough mistakes, he's gonna make contact, and he made it early in this fight, and it's just because some of the stuff Spence does is just too fat. This is the round where Crawford, he's going for the finish. He's trying to find the openings to seal it down. If you notice, he does the little leg movements. He's constantly moving his legs. He's constantly looking, like he constantly gives little inches here, right, inches here, inches there, just to create the opening for his jab. Make Errol Spence respond. This is just pressure. This is making Errol Spence think in there while he's just moving his legs. Just a little spot here, moving a little inch there, just to get an angle, just to make Errol Spence constantly think, because Errol Spence is physically exhausted. Now he's mentally exhausted. It's a lot. Everything now is adding up. It's just little steps, little steps. He's constantly moving side to side. He never stays still at this point right here. See, it's just a little inch, inch, inch. It's aggressive, but it's not letting Spence settle, right? And it's making Spence move, and when Spence moves and Spence reacts, that's good for an opening for Terence Crawford. He's making Errol Spence move without punching. He's making Errol Spence react without punching. It's just with little movements that's making Errol Spence think, oh, where's he coming from? When's he going to attack? And suddenly you're, moving out of a spot you don't want, or moving in hastily and creating an opening for him. So sometimes in boxing, checkmates happen early. I think the checkmate happened in this fight in the third round, like I said. At the end of the third, I thought checkmate, right? The fight was done. But because there's no checkmates in boxing unless, of course, you knock someone out cold. But sometimes it's just skill-wise, right? Just something technically happens that it was over early. But because it wasn't a stoppage or anything like that, then the guy just got to take his loss over the next, 9 rounds in this case of this fight. And that's what happened here. There was a checkmate in the third round. This fight was over at that point. There was nothing that Spence could do. But he has to go through the beating of the rest of the fight in front of a very dangerous guy, even though he was defeated in the third round. Because basically from that point on, he was just hoping for one punch to land, because there was nothing that he could build on against this skill. If you want to go back and fight this kind of reminds me of is Sugar Ray Leonard versus Wilfredo Benitez. And Sugar Ray Leonard controls him with the jab and blocks everything with his right hand in that fight. And that's what kind of Crawford's doing in this fight. He's controlling him with the jab and blocking everything with his left hand. If you do those two things, to dominate an elite guy like that, you're an elite fighter. And I think Terence Crawford kind of proved to me, what level he is. I think Errol Spence is a very, very good fighter. I think that I wasn't sure if how far above Crawford was than him. I thought Crawford would win this fight, but I wasn't sure how many levels above from him, and he's many levels above. He's, with as far as skill level and talent, he's one of the all-time greats. Going into this fight, a lot of people, if they would pick Crawford to win, they would say, oh, he would catch him eventually, right? And, and then he would maybe even come back win, but just because he catch an opening. And then people would say Spence would break down Terence Crawford, right? He would eventually make him quit. And that actually opposite happens, where Crawford actually breaks down Errol Spence and forces. And that's not what anyone expected, right? That Crawford would break him down with pressure, and maybe not the same pressure the way that Spence was. People think Spence was going to apply, but he did end up breaking him down physically and mentally.